takes an incredible amount of discipline for that person that holds the office to reach out beyond the bubble that they're in. And everybody blames it on the bubble, but it takes incredible discipline to reach outside of that. The people that every day tell you got a great tie on, and boy, your shirt looked great, and boy, your hair's looking good. All those people that surround it, and every day who live and breathe off the fact, is the president happy today? And if maintaining the president's crisp, lovely demeanor is an important consideration for a lot of people every single day, from policy people to political people to all of that. And a president has to recognize the limitations on that bubble and that self-contained thing they're in, to get outside of that, to bring disparate voices in, to bring people in that might tell the president they're full of it, or whatever happens to be. I can tell you, let me give you a perfect, just a tiny example of how this happens. We were sitting around in the residency in May of '04, and it was a briefing. The President and the First Lady brought us over there, all sort of key people that were going to talk about the campaign and where we stood. And it was me and Carl, Karen Hughes, and Dan Bartlett, and Ed Gillespie, and Ken Mellman. It was this sort of campaign group, and the President and First Lady were sitting there in one of the rooms of the residence. And this happened right after Abu Ghraib, and it was not a good time in the campaign. And so the President starts in about how everything's going and all this, and we do our jobs and none of this, and everything's going great. And then I'm sitting in front of him. He's right there, the First Lady right there, and I'm sitting in front of him. And he starts telling about his numbers. My numbers, where I am today is I am, at exactly where Ronald Reagan was in 1984, and that's where my numbers are. And if we do our job, then we're going to win in a landslide, and we're going to win overwhelmingly. And I sat in front of him like this. What are you talking about? And he looks at me and sees my face, and he says, why? What do you have that look on your face for, Matt? It's Matty, is what he called me, Matty. What do you have that look on your face for, Matty? And I was like, what look, Mr. President? And he says, well, you have a look on your face like that's not true. And I said, well, actually, Mr. President, that's totally not true. He goes, well, what do you mean? I said, well, if we win this election, we're going to win it by 2 or 3 points. But I emphasize if. And he goes, Carl was sitting behind me. He goes, Carl, you told me yesterday that my numbers were right there. And Carl says, well, if you look at the historical averages and factor in the, the analysis of the thing of this and this, and I turned around to Carl and said, I didn't know we're supposed to bullshit the president. I didn't know. I was like,